Hey everyone, I'm Chaotic. You guys probably know me from TikTok or Instagram, but with 2023 coming to a close and everyone compiling their top 10s of the year, I thought, hey, why don't I give it a shot? And what website better to do it on than YouTube? So, let's move on from the intro into the real meat and potatoes. And to preface, this list is mine and the criteria I am using to grade these figures is made by myself. To keep it simple, I've chosen my top 5 figures of the year according to their ability to pose, the quality and quantity of accessories, the aesthetic of the figure, and the amount of rage that bubbles up when they fall apart in my hands. So, going forward with this criteria in mind, let's talk honorable mentions. None of these are in any particular order. These are just 5 figures that came out this year that I've had a lot of fun with that just didn't make the cut. First off, we have SH Figuarts Ghetto. When I got this figure in hand, I was absolutely shocked at the articulation he has with all the robes he's wearing. The looks are unmatched and his accessory selection is decent enough. However, the lack of curses absolutely kills this figure for me. I understand that it'd be hard to put a whole curse with him, but man, even some of the little centipedes would have been cool. Still, it's such a good looking figure and I am so glad to have more villains in the Jujutsu Kaisen line. Next up on our list is SH Figuarts Chainsaw Man. This figure is so goddamn cool. Articulation is perfect in every way and the sculpt is so very nice. The accessories on this one are kind of heartbreaking though. It's $60-$70 for a figure that we're gonna have to rebuy. I would have much preferred paying another $40 for the parts to interchange them instead of buying a whole new figure. Regardless, he's an incredible release that poses so very well and he's one of my favorites. Coming up next on our list is SH Figuarts Sukuna. To continue the Jujutsu Kaisen meat writing, we've got the SHF Sukuna. This figure is so good. The face sculpts he has and the selection of accessories in general are absolutely incredible. To add to that, there's like no pose this figure cannot do. It's gotta be some of the best in the line so far. But to bitch and moan some more, he had this look for like half an episode. I would have much rather had a robed look. Still an absolute monster of a figure and one of my favorites this year. Another addition to this list is the Mafex Scarlet Spider. While the Mafex Spider-Man stuff is always cool, it is kind of getting old. All of them have the same sculpt and build, but that's besides the point. Finally, having a Scarlet Spider figure that isn't 10 years old is awesome. The articulation is great, the sculpt is pretty good, and the cloth goods are sweet as hell. Accessories are perfect, but like I said, the Mafex Spider-Man stuff is kind of all the same to me, but he's still one of the best this year. Rounding off our honorable mentions is Legendary Super Saiyan Son Goku. I had to try to think of a con for this figure. The sculpt to the articulation to the accessories. Out of all the Dragon Ball figures I've had, he's my favorite by far, and I've had an absolute blast posing him around. The
Kamehameha
effect is so good looking and the interchangeable hair pieces are highlights for me, but the proportions in the torso area are a little bit wonky, making him look pretty stout. But the pros far outweigh the cons, creating this masterpiece of a figure. Alright, now that we've got our honorable mentions all wrapped up, we're going to move on to my top 5 figures of 2023. Coming in at number 5, we have SH Figuarts Guts. Putting him this low on the list hurt me. This figure could have been so much better if the QC wasn't so poop. The accessories, while low in number, are pretty good. The sculpt work is absolutely phenomenal, and along with the cape, it absolutely perfectly captures Kentaro's art style. The articulation also caught me off guard. He can hit a lot of pretty good poses, and he looks good hitting them. The hand issue and the QC hold it back, but it doesn't change it from being an incredible figure. Alright, coming in at number 4, we have the amazing Yamaguchi Moon Knight. I am so happy to finally have a quality figure of my absolute favorite Marvel character. While he came out very, very recently, the articulation, the accessory selection, and the sculpt of this figure cement his spot on my list. And of course, he doesn't come without problems. He carries the disease of Revoltech QC, the knees popping off, and the cape subpar grounding are cons, but overall he's still an absolute unit of a release. Coming in at number 3, we finally have the SH Figuarts Aoi Todo. I've wanted a Todo figure since my first time watching Jujutsu Kaisen, and even made an attempt at a custom, which now resides in the fodder bin, because this figure is so damn good. The selection of faces is absolutely phenomenal, with plenty to choose from for serious fighting poses and stupid goofy poses, all of which absolutely work incredibly. The articulation is pretty standard for the JJK line, so there's still a little bit to be desired, but the sculpt work, accessories, and overall fun factor of this figure put him at number 3. In our number 2 spot, we have the Figma Satoru Gojo. To the people who know me well, this should come as no surprise. One of my favorite anime characters of all time put into figure form, what's not to love? This figure is so expressive with tons of options for him to change his look. From casual to blindfolded to sexy blue-eyed hunk prince from heaven, the options are endless. The proportions perfectly display his lanky build, but his legs do look a bit funny here and there. My only wish with this figure is that he had some sort of effect for hollow purple, blue, or red, but I'm just nitpicking now. Overall, this figure is absolutely beautiful and just barely gets outdone by our number 1 spot. And in our number 1 spot, we have none other than the BuzzMod Tengen Uzui. Another white-haired honk to round off our list. BuzzMod Tengen is the best figure I have purchased this year. The amount of time I have dedicated to posing him and taking photos is honestly embarrassing. But this figure masterfully encapsulates everything I want in a figure. The accessories allow for so many options, and while some faceplates have a weird uncanny valley effect to them, they're still very good. The articulation is so good throughout the whole figure, allowing for so many good poses, and his sculpted muscle looks so nice. To gripe some more, he does have a very, very wide hip. And while it doesn't bother me too much personally, I've heard a lot of people complain about it over the year. Regardless, this figure is an absolute masterpiece and is my number 1 figure of 2023. And with that, my top 5 figures of 2023 have been all wrapped up and reviewed. I just wanted to thank you guys for bearing with me through this experience. It is my first YouTube video, and it was a little bit of a learning curve. But I do plan on continuing this content and getting better. I hope you guys plan on staying with me on this adventure, and nothing will help more than your guys' support through liking, subscribing, and sharing. If you want to follow my socials, where I'll have updates about my YouTube, plus my usual content, you can find links in the description. But I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next video.